we're talking about one of the most popular game modes in Warzone currently, and that is the casual BR mode. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that I think they need to leave this mode alone. I've seen a lot of Discord also online about things that could potentially ruin the mode, and I think for the most part, they kind of just need to leave it as is because it's accomplishing a ton of positives for the game. I think some of those things include like challenges, maybe if you want to do some camo challenges, a little bit more of a casual experience. I think playing with a wider range of skill gap. I think this is the one I've experienced. There are plenty of people that I used to play with IRL that stopped playing the game, or they would just play with their own group because even though I'm not like a 10 KD player or anything, my SBMM is in the top bracket. If you go above a 1.2, 1.3, you're generally getting into the top bracket. I know it's hard to believe. I have a full video breaking down the KD breakdowns and the bell curve and all that. A little more of a complicated video. But we're not talking about that today. They refused to play with me because they said my lobbies were too sweaty. So a lot of times I just got to play with other sweaty players, which kind of makes the game a little bit more hectic. So this allowed them to actually play with me again. We were able to jump in, many of them around a 1 KD or lower, and we're able to just play the game casually. I can play off meta, I don't have to sweat out, and it's more of a casual experience, which is a little bit what we got to talk about on, because I think there's a little bit of confusion on the definition of what casual necessarily means. And then the other big point, which is kind of tied into this, is it helps people get kind of acclimated back into the game, kind of get used to some of the different changes, whether it's omni movement, how the attachments work, maybe they need to level up the guns, maybe they need to get used to contracts and how all those various things work. I think that that's a huge part of the gameplay loop, right? So I think it's accomplishing all that, and that's why I think they pretty much needed to leave it alone. I think they're going to do whatever the heck they want on the back end, because as we go through some of these comments that I'm going to go ahead and read that are from people that have commented on these videos in the past 3 days or so, kind of went back and looked through, picked a bunch out. You may recognize some of yours as I go through that if you commented anything about the casual mode, but we'll go ahead and go through that. Casual by definition means that you engage in it in a relaxed, non-competitive, or informal way, often for fun or personal enjoyment, rather than a serious commitment or profession. Obviously, some people take the game seriously. You're not going to go ahead and gatekeep anyone out of the mode. Sadly, that's just not how it's really going to work. Be like, oh, you play a little bit more than casually, you're locked out. I don't think that's necessarily going to work, even though I think some of these comments will say that. But generally, it accomplishes kind of what I talked about, where I could play with my friends casually that maybe don't have as much game knowledge or experience, or maybe they jump on once a week or something like that. We can actually game together in a PvP environment. Even though the lobbies, there's 120 bots, and there's only 28 total real players. So if you go in there with the quad, there's only 24 other players. Everybody else, 120 AI bots that are lower skill level than recruit difficulty if you load up a private match. They're not designed to be killing you. If they are, that's a different conversation. Maybe we need to direct you to another video. But they shouldn't be killing you. You pretty much should only be running into real players that are killing you. And generally, you can move around the map pretty liberally, just freely, without much concern. And then you're going to run into one of the 24 other players in the lobby. And generally, as the zones die out, the end games do get a little bit sweaty because those are all real players. They're not the 120 bots you ran into on the way. These are a couple of the quotes. Okay, there's a little duo rocking it in here. And I think that's also a nice thing that maybe they'll mess with, is maybe they experiment with trios and then they lower the player count to match so it's still the same number of team sizes, but it's only in trios, so that a duo could kind of run around and have a little bit of fun, I guess. So it says, I really wish the casual mode was strictly for actual casual players. You could have a 10 KD and still be a casual player. Unfortunately, casual doesn't mean you're trash at the game. I know a lot of times it's used liberally that way, that it's assumed that if you're a casual, you're probably trash at the game. But realistically, you could still be average and just want to play casually. You could be a 40-year-old gamer dad that logs on, wants to play with the boys, but you've been playing COD for 15 years. So yeah, you're probably decent at the game. Maybe you're not like going to be playing for money or anything, or going to pick it up as a pastime to make money off of. But you just want to hang out with the boys, game a little bit, or ladies, if you're out in the mix too, because I know there's like 3% of you that watch the channel. Realistically, you're going to be able to have those experiences. Another one I see a bit, and this one says, there's always sweats in casual. Yeah, inevitably there's going to be people that, even if they're average, just like a 1.2, like that's slightly above average, and you had a quad of 1.2 KD players, the end game will feel sweaty. That's just how it is. The game doesn't have a high skill gap. The skill floor and the skill ceiling are not that wide. Guns have very minimal recoil. TTKs are rather fast. And there's a lot of other things that go into the mix that don't make the game particularly hard compared to a lot of other games with much more recoil and a lot of other mechanics that make it more difficult. So, unfortunately, people that shoot you back will be in the game. I don't know if they're necessarily sweats though. I think some people are a little bit liberal with that term, the same way people are liberal with the terminology to say that casuals suck at the game or they're trash. Unfair, because not all sweats are like actually demons at the game. Some people just play the game and they might even only have 6 kills. They're not even doing anything crazy like this person here. Now this person says casual has been chill. Basically, all I've been playing with the bros, so we can chill and not get stomped on by sweats. So this guy has a different experience than the other person that says they're always sweats. SBMM is terrible when some friends have a 3 KD and most of us are at 0.6. So this goes kind of the example that I was giving with some of my friends that maybe they're zombie mains, or maybe they, you know, play single player games. And we played Warzone when it first came out because there was, you know, not as strict SBMM. Trying to figure out why sweats are playing the casual mode. People that shoot back aren't inherently sweats. Personally, when I was doing this game mode, I was doing a lot of the safes in this mode. I don't think I ran into a single sweat. Obviously, I would leave towards the 3rd zone. I would just back out without almost any engagement. You kill a couple AI, not a big deal. Gathering a lot of safes, and then I would leave. I like the little blue dot reticle on there. It's kind of fire. I wonder if somebody covered that. Basic kills. That was seemed like an AI bot there too. Right here. After 2 years away, I finally tried Warzone this weekend. Hated regular Warzone as a solo, so I tried Warzone casual and actually had fun. Not feeling like I was playing against some G Fuel 15-year-old. Because the reality is when you go into a regular match, there's probably like 80, probably higher than that. Let's say 100 players that are going to shoot back pretty easily, and that's it. The other 50 maybe not as good, but there's definitely way more sweats in a regular lobby than a mode with 120 bots and only 24-ish real players that you're going to go against. Warzone Verdansk has been fun, especially when coming back after years of getting the squad back together. It's been great to drop in with randos or solo, which was a nightmare before. And unfortunately, they took away the party up feature for a lot of people. I have intel that that's probably not coming back, at least until the next game comes out, but highly unlikely based off the info I got from the person I talked to. Okay, these guys are going to struggle to rotate. They're probably going to both die. Even though those are some bots, they got to get to rotating. And he got deleted by probably a real player. The Grinch came in, stole their Christmas. It says no one past Prestige 5 should be able to go into Battle Royale casual. So I'll give you an example. The guys I've already talked about, that we've already read some of their comments where they said that they're playing the game, their friends aren't particularly good, they're a 3KD player, they probably no life the game. They would essentially be locked out of that experience. And then the person would probably say, well, not them. The reality is there's no way to really restrict it that way. You can say KD all you want. Nobody's ever heard of reverse boosting, I guess. You can literally just tank your stats. This game mode's stats don't matter, so realistically you could just tank your stats and then play in the mode. Like, wins don't feel like powerful in this mode. They don't. They shouldn't. But they should give you a little bit more acclimation to the game so that you can go into the regular Battle Royale and actually go for wins that would count. If that's not something you're ever interested in, that's still fine. It's okay. Can't buy anyone back. Bro, recon, not time for it. All right. Why wouldn't they track or cap it by KD for BR casuals? Would that be so hard? Like I already mentioned, that's not a practical solution for the examples I gave. The 3 KD player inherently is going to play casually with their 3 bros that are garbage at the game with their 0.6 KD. That's fine. They're going to have a blast. It's fine. They're not going to win every match. His bros are probably going to die to some of the AI. It's okay. They're going to lose some gulags against AI. This guy's probably dead. Okay, there's 2 of them running around together. All right, cool. Here's one that I actually am a little bit interested in. It says, also, they need to put a watermark on casual so people can see if the content is regular, Warzone, or casual. And I think that's more geared towards like targeting content creators that are going to farm this for clips. I see people saying that that's happening. And every time I ask who, they always go everyone. And I'm like, I have yet to see it. Because it's pretty obvious when they run into a bot. The bot throws a nade, stands there for a second, then starts firing their gun, misses half the shots. Pretty obvious compared to a real player that just is bad at the game and maybe a 2-box lobby or something like that. But I wouldn't be necessarily against that. Even if it put it next to the kills, it was in gold or something like that, or it would say casual or something. I'm okay with that. Maybe put it next to the mini map. It doesn't even have to be really obnoxious, but I wouldn't really mind that. I don't think that's like a make or break for the mode, but that's specifically for people that would farm this content to ruin other people's. That definitely they probably shouldn't be in this lobby in that specific example where they're not bringing their friends on board and not gaming with their bros. They're literally just trying to get some gameplay because they need a 30 kill game for their YouTube channel or some nonsense or TikTok or whatever. Casual is fun break from the sweats. And I believe they could add trios and duos to casual rather than quads only. Could reduce the sweat groups. I'm not 100% sure on this. I think trios, like I mentioned earlier, could be like a happy medium. And I think it could be a sweet spot. That's a bot. I think it could be the sweet spot where trios is probably a better mode for this. And they just came out with quads off the rip. They've basically done no changes to the game. And I think they're just kind of like doing the Verdansk integration that we had for season 3 was essentially like a palate cleanser for the game. Everyone gets to start back on neutral footing. This is how the game is played. Reset that expectation of what the expectations are for the game. And then slowly introduce some of the things that they think are going to impact the game in a positive way. Not just for casuals, not just for sweats, but for the game as a whole. Just to make it a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more fun, and continue to expand on that aspect, which is the fun factor, which I think sometimes gets min-maxed to death. I know some people say, oh, well, you make loadout videos. Yeah, that's happening regardless. I'm sorry, dog. If I don't post a single video all year, everyone in your lobbies will be running the meta within 12 hours of an update. Because they just do it the old-fashioned way. You die to something a bunch of times, that's probably the meta, right? It's just kind of how it goes. One thing I did tweet about the other day too is one of the reality is that there's people that think they should win this mode 100% of the time just because it's casual. It's like, that's not really how it'll work. There's like 8 or so, what, 8 times 4? That's 32, so no, 7-ish teams in the lobby at any given time. So you kind of have a 1 in 7 chance if everyone was your skill level. But obviously, there's different skill disparity between low-skilled and high-skilled players. All right, there's some people cutting across right here. See what happens when they roll up. Kind of third-partying, jumped out. Okay, the guy's name isn't particular. What is this optic, bro? Why would anyone run that? There's gotta maybe doing reticle challenges, right? Bro, there's no shot he's using that. Okay, post it up, bro. The other guy left. He died and left. Maybe they weren't huh. He's gonna get killed right here. Edge of gas. So the other guy, he died. Guy does not have a self, so if he gets downed, he's still sitting on 30K. He's getting deleted. That guy traded it out. So that's the thing too, is you can see this guy obviously he's above average, but they're using off meta, right? There's no reason to use these guns. And he got deleted because there's a sniper and another person there. I actually want to spectate this other team. This guy got destroyed. Part of the thing too is with these sweats, that are playing, they still die. Right? Like, they're split, they use off meta, and aren't necessarily playing for the win. Even though we're in the top 10 category where pretty much all the people in this lobby right now should basically be real players. They're actually gonna wait for the rotation, but that's gonna be a while. I don't know why it's still live ping though. Maybe that's just a bug? Or because they're firing and they have bird's eye maybe? I'm not sure exactly. Because normally at this point in the zone, we don't normally have anyone on the minimap. Basically the spectator camera's bugged. Buy station so far. That's one thing that's a little bit extra punishing in this version of Verdansk is it doesn't have the additional buy stations that they added like a month after the game came out back in 2020. Okay, is this a free rotation? 4 other teams? There's probably people on this buy station, right? Thought he saw someone. Oh, they're rotating across. Double SMG. This guy's definitely doing his camos. Is there a camo challenge for a thermal optic on the the SOG? Or what is that, the Jackal? I don't know. I don't know the blueprint names. And all those do get a little intense. They're never remotely close to as intense as a real lobby. Oh, we got sniped at. Will he rotate across? He's gonna hit the buy and he's dead. GG's. Sweat gone. Got cooked. Got his teammate back. Let's go. 30K. Pop a UAV, bro. Nice. Got the precision. And it's getting smoked. Okay. So it's a 3v2v1 precision to zone building. And they're getting clustered. The guys, they're all at fire station, and I don't know where that third, unless they're rotating late across, right? They might be fighting right now. Chance of third party. Teammate went down. Teammate fully blooded. You hear him running up on you. Nice. Okay, got the buyback. Accidentally picked up a gun. Okay. Oh, didn't buy back his teammate? He had the money. Buy station's gonna close. All right, cool. So still 3v2v1. They got the Bertha. Destroyed from the window, brother. Smoked. Other teammates coming back. Oh, and it's a hard pull. Vehicle's gonna come in clutch here. He's doing the smart thing, just trying to damage it up. That guy going in the gas, it is gonna take tick damage. He can get that going. Not enough money for really much. The buy station's gonna get out of bounds. He's trying. Ran over his teammate. 2v1v1. 2v1. This guy has probably lost it. He's gonna be coughing. They're gonna catch him. Doesn't have ears. All right, GG's. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let's leave casual alone. Let the devs cook. They already cooked this mode up more than expected. I hope they actually bring a casual mode to Rebirth Island too. But we'll see how that goes. See you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.